So I just ended the stream, got tired of it. So let's talk about how to do some setups for live broadcast or events. Been doing that stuff for about, on and off, since I was like 15 years old. That was back in 1993, so figure it out. We're going to talk about how to set up a couple different ways for a broadcast to make sure that you get the best audio, best visuals, and the ability for a producer or anyone else who happens to be on set that is a significant portion or decision maker to see the visuals of that event. First off, one of the key components of this whole setup is going to be this monitor setup here. This is an Atomos Shogun Connect. There's two different versions of this that's still available. There's the Shogun and then there is the Shogun Ultra. Both are really cool items. Let's look at the back side of it. On the back side, you'll see that this particular one has SDI and it has HDMI inputs. Now, the reason why this is important, this is an agnostic monitor, but it's a key piece to this. And we've also have the transmitter that's connected to it, which is the Hollyland Pyro S, which is also an agnostic tool too. Takes HDMI in and SDI in. You'll need these for the transmission of the visual signal to the client and also recording information. So this can record internally, so if you happen to be using a RED or a high-end production camera, this will allow you to record. That's what we're doing right now, and it's easy to stop. So stop the recording there. You see this portion over here that says NDI? That's your wireless transmission. This connects to a Wi-Fi network or an Ethernet network, your choice, and then you can transmit the signal over to a laptop anywhere on that same network. That means somebody can be in a producer's booth and watch exactly what you're doing while it's being live streamed and can tell you what adjustments to make before it gets to the live stream or the broadcast. The other piece I showed you earlier was the Pyro S, which is going to be this unit right here. This unit can transmit two separate ways. Number one, this particular unit can transmit to a mobile device. So for example, an iPad, a cell phone, or it can transmit to a receiver unit, which can go into any HDMI or SDI, which once again is an agnostic piece. Truly important whenever you're doing production, find the most agnostic or one that is the most flexible piece of equipment you can that can transcend the camera. So for example, if you prefer Canon, but you've been hired on to use a Panasonic or a Sony, it does make a huge difference in what you're doing, how you're doing it, if you have the right monitors. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing? This particular setup allows you to use any camera you want to. In this case, I'm using a Sony FX series camera, and there's a reason for that. When it comes to live production and broadcast, you kind of want to have something that has every one of the tools in one unit. The Canon, the Panasonic, and the Nikon all accept audio through a handle. The difference is Sony accepts audio either using this handle here or a K3M in almost every camera of its lineup. Nikon and the rest are limited. With the FX series, you can use an XLR input right here for your audio. And then if you're taking audio from a mixer board, which I brought one of my mixer boards out, you can take the signal from the audio out, run it in to audio in here as a line level signal and get the cleanest signal, the same one that goes out to the PA speakers. Giving you a huge, huge advantage when it comes to sound for live production or live to tape when you're doing a live stream or broadcast. As a single camera too, the reason why I chose the FX series over a lot of the other ones is SRT. There are some clients who have an SRT key, and having that SRT key allows you to transmit with less likely of drop of image. And this has the ability to use an SRT key, RTMP key, and it also has the ability to use the Facebook option, YouTube option, directly from an app, transmit via the Wi-Fi system, so you are broadcasting with just a camera and a phone if you needed to make that broadcast work. And still record a 4K all-intra image, which is another reason why I'm with the FX series. in the Sony series is they have all interest, so you can get the highest quality of video recording while still transmitting via Wi-Fi for any of your streaming and broadcasting needs. Kind of a cool little setup all the way around. Another key feature of this is 4-channel audio. So you'll see this microphone's connected, this XLR is in here. This microphone gives you a nice backup. So if you can have 4-channel audio, if this audio for some reason has issues, and this audio right here is linked in and has something is recording, which this is a stop and record system. I always buy ones that have the recording capabilities, or I get sponsored with one that has recording capabilities. So right up front, this was a sponsor piece, and the microphones I'm using right now to speak with are sponsor piece. Everything else aren't sponsored. And that allows you to have great signal coming from them back and forth. Now, why do I choose this wireless transmission system from Hollyland? Because when you're connected to any of these phones, which you can connect to 2 devices, you can still transmit wirelessly to the receivers up to 4 other devices. So you really do have a huge advantage in what you can do on the broadcast side. One of the things I also recommend, if you're going to get into broadcast, get yourself a really good set of sticks with a really good video head. This has the ability to have very, very smooth panning and very, very smooth tilting. Most of these heads are made out of steel, which means they're not going to break. They may get scratched up, but they will not break. They are legs agnostic, so meaning you could take this unit completely off, get different legs, and you'll be able to use this unit. Hugely important. Do I recommend a V-mount system for battery power? Depends how long the event is. The event is going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. Yeah, kinda. Depends on the V-mount battery you got. I always recommend that you use the internal battery that comes with the camera if there's a way to power this through USB-C. That allows you to change out the battery, keep broadcasting or recording live the tape here, and have no interruptions. Worst come to worst, the monitor goes out. Now, if your monitor is what's transmitting NDI, here's where things get kind of tricky. You need to know how long you're going to be on that system and will it be able to sustain it for a period of time. This particular unit is a 150 watt battery. Come on. And at the moment, it's getting drawn out at about 40 watts. So I've got about 3 hours of usage time with this particular setup. And this is a technical thing. One of the things you got to learn being in this industry is understanding the technical side of how long everything will last. So this whole setup itself with wireless transmission, everything else lasts for 3 hours. Most events are about 2 hours to 3 hours at most. So you'll be good there. The big question I have, does anyone have questions on how and what to do with this equipment? Normally, this isn't my wheel park or anything. I will be behind the camera or showing someone how to use the camera on set. But I'm not used to being on the YouTube pages and showing off and talking about what I know to a whole bunch of people who are strangers. But once again, I got to ask from friends, hey, you should probably do something on YouTube and talk about this equipment. And I don't know what they all want to know. To me, this is all basic stuff. But when I think back about it, it's pretty advanced. This audio system that I have here can run like eight microphones or 8 different sources into it. I can control how those sources go into the unit. The laptop can take in and transmit that same signal, record it, add it to a live stream through Wirecast or any other services that uses NDI and recognizes it as a webcam. This setup right here can actually record whatever you're sending to it. So for example, I can hit record here and record all this. It has all the tools with it too. So if I wanted to see all the graphs, color wheel, all of it, I could definitely really monitor and control what I'm doing. And then of course put the thirds in there. Long story short, man, I don't know what you guys want to know. I like being interactive because that's how I teach. I'm set up for broadcast to do anything. If you have any questions on it, throw them in the chat right now. I'll answer them. If you're just here watching, wondering what I'm going to say next, I don't know, man. It's a bunch of equipment. The setup is fairly easy for me, but when I go on sets and I work with other people, it's fairly difficult. And I really want to know the questions people have. Would I recommend going with a Sony over a Canon? Hell yes. Oh. Anyway, that was 10 minutes of chatting. We're fun. We're done. Hey, I have no idea who you are, but thanks. It's Gray Sod 33. What's up? How you doing? Appreciate the love. Today I was just talking about a bunch of camera gear I've got sitting here. It's a day that really it's raining. I'm not going to be doing an event today. The studio in Bellevue is not really filled up. What's up? I can't pronounce your name. I'm going to probably do it wrong, Zongchang. And I'm just deciding what I should do with this channel. Most of the times I'll just throw stuff in a private section and then send it off to clients. Bye, Gray. Now, if you're interested in learning about cameras, let's look at this camera one more time and go through the list. So that's a Sony FX30. That's an 18-105, which is a power zoom lens, which just automatically powers and zooms. Shotgun microphone, tons of those out there. Pick one, choose one. This one's a self-powered one, but you can go with a non-self-powered one and be just as good. This is an Atomos Shogun Connect 7, though they've changed it just to Shogun. Of course, your regular cell phone, so this one happens to be a Samsung S22. The gimbal, let's see if I can get that in a shot. Can we see it? The gimbal, not your normal one. This is called a Scorp Mini, and the Rode Wireless Pro units to it. And the sponsor piece for this particular show is the Onyx 8. Actually, no, it's not sponsored. I take that back. This is one of the few products from Mackie that was not sponsored. This was actually one of the payment products. I actually did work and we were in overtime and we didn't want to redo the invoice, and so I got paid with this. This is a really good mixer board. If you're interested in learning how to use one of these when you're in a live event going to a camera, I can explain this one of these days. And it's in some ways it's pretty easy, and in a lot of ways it's hard because you got to have the right cables. And then of course this is the laptop I'm showing the NDI on. So how many of you are interested in learning about this gear and how to use it? Because I'd love to teach it. I just don't know exactly what everyone wants to learn because, frankly put, everyone's different. Yesterday I was doing QC and I was doing inventory in and load out. It was weird because a lot of these people I work with couldn't tell you how to put half the stuff together, but they do a really good job of what they're doing with the gear. I didn't realize the technical side was so, well, let's just say not as well taught. And it's not fair because you got people out here really trying to do the best they can, and it's just not there. They're just not really like giving them the opportunity to succeed. And I want them to, like, I really do, because they're the next level of this industry. But anyway, there's that. I'm going to talk about the next live I'm doing, which is, I think I'm just playing around with these just to get a good feel and get comfortable in front of them so that I can actually give you a nice product on my other channel. Because this has been around for like, I think I've had this channel open for like 7 or 8 years. Didn't really use it for anything because I didn't know what to talk to you guys about. Oh yeah, there's my camera over the shoulder. If you want to know about the camera, ask. I talked about a bunch of it earlier. I'm not going to get into the specs and the boring part because there's a ton of people who did reviews on all these products that don't know what the hell they're talking about. Maybe that's why I'm going to start doing this, because I've worked on so many sets where YouTubers have come out and said, this is what you use this for, and it is not what you use it for. It's not how the product works. It's not how, You know, I get tired of reviewer channels that have a million people following them because they're really good at presenting a review, but don't know shit about a product. When I say don't know shit, they don't know shit. You can read a spec sheet on any product out there. What you can't do is you can't build this. This is a full production rig. That's what the hell this is. And I'm really, really tired of all the review channels that have never done a full production rig like this and used it for 3 to 5 hours on a set. Now, there's a few people out there that have. I'll give respect to those people. A couple of them I watch. So Kofi, Brandon, and a few others actually go on sets and shoot with these. When I say go on set, that means they leave their house, they go put stuff in a car, they rig up, and they go do a live event, or they go do something that is in fashion of what this product is for. I have yet to see anyone, except for maybe 2 people, have this monitor or monitor like it set up specifically in a way that it can be used for broadcast with, say, vMix and a few other sources out there, Ecamm, properly. And I want people to see it. I ain't mad at them. I'm very, very happy they built a broadcast channel to build up a name and get a reputation and you know, at least get people interested in cameras and other stuff like that. I gotta be real with you. When I first started watching some of these reviews on some of these products, because I've had to switch from doing photography to videography, I was like, okay, all of a sudden I'm interested in Blackmagic cameras. All of a sudden I'm interested in Reds, I'm interested in this. And the longer and the more I watched and worked with some of these people who are in these reviews, and I was out doing set work, I realized half the stuff they were talking about, they didn't know what they were talking about, but it sounded really good. And the other half of what they were talking about was very limited on what it was like to do live production. I want to do a show that makes sense on that. I just don't know what to do the format for it without having to spend 2, 3, 4 days ahead of time building out a show that's so scripted it's just fake. Because to me, I don't want to give you a fake show. I want to give you the real deal. I want to be out on the set, show you what it's like to be out here with pre-show, post-show, setup, some of the in-show as it is. And I think, you know, a lot of people crave that and need that. Now, is this going to be the best format? I haven't a clue. I really don't. Because I can build a show. Easy. I do it for other people all the time. But I don't know if I really want to build a show doing this. I mean, this took probably an hour to set up of real time. It's a fully mobile system, which I've used this one so many times for mobile live. It's ridiculous. Because like this camera, the Sony FX30, is probably the best camera for under $3,000 you could ever get your hands on. And I've been looking at cameras for a long time. The moment I got the FX30, please, there was nothing else. You get an FX30 with a handle, put it in a cage, get the memory cards in it, there ain't nothing better. In the Super 35 realm, there ain't nothing better for the price. Now, some of you will say the Red is better, the Komodo Red is, and that's not true because it just doesn't have all the ready to go shooting. You still have to buy a battery. You still have to buy all the rest. This literally out the door was ready to go. I just put a lens on it. It was knocking on the park, and I was making money. I can't think of anything else that has the capabilities that this has and make it work. But that's it. We're over with this. I'm going to do the next live. It's going to be specifically on how to set up audio for these. Gotta go. Peace.